Good evening, and welcome to the commencement exercises for Springfield Township High School's class of 2017. My name is Chuck Rittenhouse, and I'm the very proud principal of our wonderful high school. At this time, I ask that all students, faculty, and guests please either stand or remain standing for our national anthem, which will be played by our symphonic band. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Please be seated. Thank you to our mixed chorus, concert choir, and district faculty chorus for such a rousing rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. Members of the Board of School Directors, Dr. Hacker, administrators, faculty, staff, all guests, and especially students, it's once again my pleasure to welcome you to our 2017 commencement exercise. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first student speaker, the president of the class of 2017, Rachel Harmon.
Good evening, friends, family, faculty, administrators, and finally, the class of 2017. With graduation finally here, many of us have so many thoughts running through our heads, such as, I cannot wait to leave, I hope no one can see my sweat stains, or how long is graduation because I'm starving. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, because there are so many great memories and experiences that we all shared. Even though all of us weren't together in elementary school, we were still able to form a strong bond with one another. With the loving nicknames of Nerdenheim and Henfield, yes, I clearly went to Erdenheim and really tried to make Henfield a thing, we have basically become a married couple. We fight and annoy each other, but at the end of the day, we cannot imagine our lives without each other. The relationships that we have developed are like no other, since we are such a close-knit community. We cannot forget these relationships even if we wanted to. So as we are excited to think about the future, we should reminisce on this past year. I never believe anyone who said that senior year flies by, but I've been proven wrong since I can't believe that it's June 14th right now and I'm standing here giving my speech. I remember the tailgate and cheering on the girls' soccer team in the stadium and giving my senior thesis like it was yesterday. This myth of senior year is true as we are sitting next to each other in our cap and gowns. This year was one for all of us to remember, since it was our last chance to do something that would impact Springfield. We did not take our time for granted as we brought the Spartan mentality to everything we did. So who exactly is the class of 2017? We have been definitely the class to watch out for ever since we entered the high school. We are the class that will be remembered for an endless amount of things that we have done that will resonate with Springfield. We are an outstanding group of people who have shown leadership, responsibility, and kindness to each other and everyone in the Springfield community. For instance, we have created the peer tutoring homeroom, founded the a cappella club, and hosted the first Black History Month brunch. We are the class who has 31 All-League Spartans, received 7 awards in the performing arts, received 4 awards in the art show, inducted 27 people in the National Honor Society, established gender-neutral bathrooms, won various Eastern awards and recognitions, and challenged ourselves academically, as 25.6% of us have scored a 3 or above on an AP exam. Our parents brag enough about us to everyone, so maybe they're right. Everyone in this graduating class has accomplished something remarkable, whether it be individually or in a team setting. We have collectively earned a multitude of awards and accomplishments in athletics, academics, and the arts. There is not one club, sports team, or classroom that has not been a place where we have left our mark. I could probably list everything that we have done, but I have only 5 minutes. But I will say that each of us has achieved something individually, and we are able to do this because we share the same mindset, to achieve excellence in everything we do. We are a class that is ready for any challenge. We are a class that is willing to push ourselves and each other. We are a class that can and will overcome a failure or a loss and bounce back. We are a class that will continue this routine after we graduate. Our contributions are what has made our grade so unique. Of course, we are able to work and collaborate together, but our individuality is what makes us all special. There is so much creativity and passion within each of us, and we have shown it throughout our entire high school career. With each of our personal touches, we are able to grow holistically. Holistic has many definitions. A brief definition is the idea that the whole is more than merely the sum of its parts. We have all added to the whole at Springfield with our own talents and ideas. Each of us has made a part of Springfield a little bit better, whether it was in the classroom, art room, the field, or the stage. We have all found our way to specialize in our part at Springfield. We have constantly come together and supported one another, and it was always made things better. It is important that we continue to share our knowledge, skills, experience, and motion with each other. While it may not always change the results in our situation, it is better to be together than alone. So, although senior year has gone by faster than you expected, right now we are achieving one last accomplishment together. This will be one of the greatest and most memorable achievements for all of us that we will look back and think, wow, I can't believe we did that. Hopefully we will see each other soon and continue to achieve excellence in everything that we do. It was my pleasure to serve as class president of the 2017 class, and I will miss you all next year. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Rachel. Our next student speaker, Carly Munger, is a salutatorian of the class of 2017.
Good evening. I'd like to first thank all of our teachers, administrators, parents, siblings, and everyone else here today that helped get such a motley group of kids to this point. As we prepare to embark on the next chapter of our lives, we must first reflect on the series of events, choices, and changes that have helped us to land on our feet at graduation today. Graduation is literally defined as a gradual change, but artist Jean Moore has proclaimed that people don't change, only their costumes do. Following Moore's assertion, we have tried on a myriad of costumes to get here. Walking into the first day of kindergarten, each of us probably wore our parents' favorite costume. Excitement mingled with fear, creating a swirl of butterflies in our stomachs. Each day to come brought new adventures, whether that meant learning to read chapter books, getting to play on Enfield's fire truck playground, or painting pictures that would later end up lining the hallways at school. We quickly outgrew our toddler jumpers and replaced our old costumes with big kid elementary school attitudes. With each new grade, our roles in school morphed from fearful to fearless. We gave up our recorders for real instruments, acquired leads in the Festival of the Arts, and became captains at Color Day. But we soon outgrew the costumes that elementary school had to offer. Transitioning from elementary to middle school was no small feat. Shedding our carefree days for teenage angst, we were ready for lockers, changing classes, and of course, health class. With the integration of Enfield and Erdenheim, trying on a new costume was simple. At a time when we barely knew who we wanted to be, it was easy to flip through characters. One day we could try out the life of a student athlete, while the next we could practice to become Mrs. Sinclair's next rising theater star. Our time at Springfield has enabled us to try on a number of different costumes, but has also helped narrow down what costumes we are likely to wear in the future. Walking into high school, I planned on playing field hockey and basketball, I hated math, and I wanted to become a teacher. Walking out of high school, I have yet to touch a field hockey stick or a basketball. I have come to love math, and I have learned that my lack of patience renders a career as a teacher virtually impossible. And I am only one of the 157 students graduating today. We all wear different costumes, and we all play different roles. For some, this means spending hours upon hours with Marlene, perfecting the fall and spring productions. For others, it may mean working with Gersh in the Retina office, bothering Mr. Mao with calculus questions, playing a sport, or even joining book club to eat pizza and talk about novels with Miss Roberts. Over the past 4 years, we have tackled a number of challenging roles, too. Our grade is filled with activists fighting for a number of different causes. Our grade has produced a number of Division I athletes, successful musicians, theater prodigies, and academic geniuses. But we could not have gotten to this point without the characters that surround us. The various costumes those around us have decided to wear throughout high school have unequivocally influenced our own characters. Our peers have taught us when to take charge and when to let others step up to the plate. Our teachers have showed us when to seize the best opportunity. Mr. Shelley taught us when to go to war and when to form an alliance. Mr. Arner taught us which Nerf weapon to use given which circumstance. Mrs. Fuzz showed us how to psych out the competition. Each role around us has sewn another stitch into the costume we decide to wear next. And finally, we have reached graduation. Today, we wear blue and white gowns on our bodies, coupled with expressions of excitement and nervousness on our faces. I find myself unsure of exactly what costume I will wear next. For some of us, we will find ourselves playing a similar role as we have for the past 4 years, as students. But as college students, we assume new responsibilities. We will find ourselves on our own, spending sleepless nights in the libraries and struggling to survive off of school cafeteria food. Others will turn their focus towards vocational schools, where they will become experts in their fields. Others still will go right into work, law enforcement, or military service, undoubtedly donning a costume laced with the bravery and strength needed to face the real world. As we move on from high school, we can be sure that the roles we have chosen to play in the past have helped prepare us to succeed, and that we have more costumes in our closet than ever to try on for size, until we find the perfect fit. There have been and will be times when we feel we are not in the role we should be. There have been moments in which it seems the scene playing out around us does not make any sense. We have found ourselves in situations that no costume could prepare us for. Over the course of this past year, we have certainly experienced these moments, but armed with a strong supporting cast, we have bonded. Our experiences this past year have brought us closer together, and the role we have played during even the most difficult times will only add to the characters we portray in the future. No matter what character we decide to play next, there's only one way to perform. A classmate once promised to play for his team with as much passion and heart as Allen Iverson did for Philly. Moving on from high school, it is important to keep that advice in mind. Try on a new costume, take it off, and try on another one. But whatever role you end up with, make sure to play with total passion and all of your heart. Congratulations again to the class of 2017. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Carly. Our next student speaker, Carly Euling, is the valedictorian of the class of 2017.
Thank you all so much for coming, parents, teachers, administrators, and Springfield's class of 2017. Now you're stuck listening to me. I promised myself I wouldn't quote Hamilton at all. As we prepare to enter a new chapter in our lives, I ask you to picture Springfield in the future. Not next year or the year after, but maybe 15 years from now. Some aspects of the high school experience will probably be the same. Netflix will likely still be blocked on school computers. There might still be a bonfire before the homecoming football game, and there will be a football team. Many of our teachers will still be here, but not everything will be the same. We know at least one of us will be teaching here. People always come back to Springfield. Instead of pink passes, maybe students will need green passes to leave classes. The alma mater will play every morning on the announcements instead of just Friday. Other than the inevitable alumni teachers from our class, where will the rest of us be? There are aspiring nurses, engineers, soldiers, pastry chefs, zoologists, graphic designers, and rocket scientists in this class. We know how high school prepared us to get there. Although our knowledge will take us far, we must be pushed by something more. As we look towards our lives after graduation, we must be motivated by hope. Everyone has carried many hopes with them here today. Most of you hope I will wrap this up as soon as possible. Some of the girls are probably hoping they will be able to accept their diplomas without falling over on their 6-inch wedges. Our parents might hope they don't end up doing our laundry while we use our education to cook ramen in their basement. Or maybe they hope we do, instead of going out into the world on our own. As we go out into the world, it might seem like too much to handle. The troubles of our world might seem overwhelming, and we might sigh and say that they are beyond our control. The thing is, I look at all of us today, and I can imagine all the problems we will solve. We have that ability not just because we are graduates looking towards an open future. There have been graduates from every school and every state far beyond when we can remember. Instead, I have hope in us as graduates because we are an open-minded, innovative, and independent generation. I mean, some of us have dealt with the range of personalities that makes up our class for 13 years. We must be pretty accepting. After we graduate, we must look to ourselves for hope, we must look to our world for hope, and we must carry hope that our paths will turn out okay. The problem with hope is that it cannot survive on its own. We can hope for many things, but the simple fact is that not all of our wishes will come true. The graduating class is here today because we have worked to make those things we hope for a reality. We have been accepted to colleges and found jobs because of our work in high school. We know the effort that it takes to realize those hopes. The challenge, then, comes when our hopes do not manifest. When our best-laid plans do not come to be, we must exhibit resilience. To achieve what we desire, we have to realize that everything will not always turn out perfectly. It might take the Phillies a while to win the World Series again, but it's going to happen. 2021, I'm calling it now. Hey, it took the Cubs 108 years. I think we can do a bit better. Our first job might not be exactly what we were looking for, but we need to take the first step. Sometimes we will take classes in subjects we just do not understand. Hopefully they're not within our major. When you get where you're going in 15 years, none of you will remember the speech. In fact, few of you will remember it in 15 minutes. If you remember anything, make it the people that got you here today, the people that gave you hope. Remember your parents and friends. If you recall anything from the ceremony today, remember to thank someone. Personally, I'd like to thank my grandma for dropping off every imaginable thing at school after I had forgotten it. Without her trips to bring my forgotten cleats, trombone, and lunches, I likely would not have made it past middle school. Thank a friend that got you through your triumphs and trials, or thank the teacher that inspired you to become who you are today. From their little nudges of help along the way to the defining revelations they sparked, we owe our story to those around us. Today, I ask you to look towards the future with hope. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2017.
Thank you and congratulations, Carly. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Nancy Hacker, Superintendent of the School District of Springfield Township. On behalf of the entire high school community and school district, I'd like to publicly thank and acknowledge your support, leadership, and guidance during this past school year. Please welcome Dr. Nancy Hacker.
Thank you, and thank you, Dr. Rittenhouse. Good evening. I'd like to welcome all of you to this year's graduation ceremonies for the class of 2017. And to the parents and families of our graduates, I congratulate you and I salute you for your involvement and concern over the education of your children. Graduates, would you please join with me and recognize the hard work and efforts your families have put forth on your behalf. I'd also like to welcome honored guests from Springfield Township, members of the Board of School Directors, administrators, and faculty and staff members who've chosen to be here this evening to help us all celebrate this event. To the class of 2017, your parents and family members are sitting in the audience this evening thinking back to when they first sent you off to kindergarten. They're remembering their joy and their fears as you entered your first year of formal education. Up until that point, they were primarily responsible for imparting the important lessons that would shape who you've become. One of those lessons that was a foundation of your early years was to teach you how to listen. Your parents taught you, don't do this or don't do that, so that you learn how important it was to listen to the important messages that they instilled in you. And then as you went through school, your teachers reinforced the same message. Listen to directions, listen to the announcements, listen to your teachers, listen to your classmates, and so forth. That message was essential for surviving in a world filled with disparate ideas, influences, and beliefs. And in these challenging times, the art of listening to others, regardless of how offensive or off-putting their opinions might seem, is becoming increasingly lost. In a recent editorial published in the Wall Street Journal, the president of Middlebury College, Laurie Patton, stated, "Committed speech, reasoned speech, courageous speech, these are essential to education. We cannot shut down speech that offends us. We must learn to listen, to hear, and to challenge." The primary obligations of any educational institution, including ours, are to teach about listening to what others have to say, and to teach the right of expression of one's ideas and opinions. Allowing others to express their viewpoints, however abhorrent that speech is a guaranteed right under our Constitution. Patton, in her editorial, urges educational institutions to teach students how to take on arguments that offend them, to learn to express themselves with better ideas supported with better reason, better research, better logic, and better data, to risk being offended, yet to argue back even when they might feel afraid. Over much of the past year here in Springfield Township and elsewhere, you may have noticed the increased presence of a particular lawn sign, which many of you may even have on your front lawn. The signs in bold colors of red, white, and blue proclaim, "Hate has no home here," in several languages. The fact that these signs began appearing shortly after the election has not been lost on some, who do see a distinct connection between the signs and a particular political point of view. Now, before any of you or our larger audience here today worries that this speech is going to veer off course and become a political diatribe, let me share with you that is not my intent. The North Park, Illinois project organizers who created these signs claim that they are not intended to convey a political message, but instead, and I quote, they are a public declaration that hate speech and hateful actions against others will not be tolerated by the person or organization displaying the sign, and that it is decidedly nonpartisan. And while the message behind the sign seems simple, it has indeed become controversial. Even here in the district, I have heard this year from individuals who have suggested place those signs all over our schools, while others have said no one should be allowed to display those signs in our schools. And interestingly, new signs have also begun to appear within the community. These signs proclaim, "Love lives here," love of God, family, friends, country, community, and the U.S. Constitution. And as with the "Hate Has No Home" signs, news outlets have reported new controversy over what has again been perceived as a new political statement that those signs are promoting, particularly in response to the "Hate Has No Home" signs. On their surface, both signs seem to be expressing a viewpoint of a differing political faction. Dueling signs representing diverse perspectives in a politically polarized time in our country. Dueling signs that might present opportunities for neighbors to argue with their neighbors over the message that they believe is behind the sign. Yet both signs, arguably, contain vital and simple messages that perhaps we all need to spend time listening to. There is no place for hate, and despite our differences, we all need to learn to love a whole lot more. And so I hope my message to you as graduates of a community of learners is clear. It is one that has been reinforced during your time here in Springfield, regardless of your political or other beliefs. As you leave us as a well-educated member of a global and diverse society, you have an obligation to listen to others, to research your facts, and when you disagree, to engage in what Lori Patton referred to as reasoned and thoughtful debate. In our current political climate, it may be hard to debate challenging topics on which we disagree, but we all have a responsibility to teach and discuss them openly and honestly with mutual respect. Graduates, the next time you see one of these lawn signs, I hope that it will serve as a reminder to you of a simple message. Just as your parents taught you from the time you were an infant, and just as your teachers here in Springfield have taught you throughout your schooling, remember to listen. Listen to others so that you can better understand, and so that you can become a more well-informed member of our society. Congratulations, class of 2017. I wish you all my best as you move on to fulfill all your hopes and your dreams. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Hacker. As a senior class, you've had such an extraordinary school year, which has made me and everybody in this stadium very proud. Acceptances to outstanding colleges, universities, trade schools, branches of the U.S. military, or pursuing a job in a field of interest. Once again, the National Association of Music Merchants named our district as one of the top school districts in America in musical education for the 4th consecutive year. This was the inaugural year for the Peer Tutoring Center, created, designed, and staffed by students graduating tonight. Our high school achieved a grade of 92.2 as our school performance profile score, or a grade of A, and this is a report card issued annually for each school by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, ranking us among or better than the top schools in the state. 12 varsity teams participated in postseason competition, and dozens of our student athletes achieved league, county, state, and national and all-American recognition. 8 Spartan student athletes will participate at the next level in collegiate sports. Springfield was designated again this year as one of the most challenging high schools by in America, by the Washington Post. We implemented our new student policy via our Safe and Welcoming Committee to ensure that all students at our high school are valued. Our musicians and artists achieved local, county, district, state, and national honors and recognition, and will continue to do so at the collegiate level. We had a marked improvement in our already outstanding advanced placement scores and level of participation, outstanding SAT scores and achievement in the National Merit Scholarship Program. At the senior awards ceremony yesterday, it was my pleasure to give out 88 academic and athletic awards totaling more than $15,000. 25 of our seniors attended the Eastern Center for Arts and Technology, with many of our students achieving perfect attendance, Student of the Month, and dozens of other, again, local, state, and national awards. We had outstanding and entertaining plays, musicals, and concerts, and we had a fun and safe school year, perhaps most importantly, and that makes me very proud of all of you. 4 years ago in September 2013, your first day of high school was my first day as your principal here at Springfield Township High School. 14 years ago, my family moved to Springfield Township to live in our excellent community and attend our outstanding elementary, middle, and high school. As the father of a graduate tonight, as your principal, as your neighbor, and as your friend, I am very proud of every single graduate this evening. Perhaps most impressive is this statistic. All, or 100% of our senior class is graduating this evening, and that is certainly a tribute to our outstanding staff, family, and students. I would like to personally acknowledge that 2 of our outstanding staff members will be retiring next week, and I ask them to stand at this time. Guidance Counselor Mary Soboleski and Special Education Teacher Ann Gahab. If you could please stand and be acknowledged. Each year, students at our high school are given the opportunity to select a faculty commencement speaker. This year, the students selected Ashley Fossarelli. Mrs. Fossarelli has been a social studies teacher here at the high school for 13 years. Students, please welcome your selection for faculty speaker, Mrs. Ashley Fossarelli, or Mrs. Fuzz, pardon me.
Thank you, Dr. Rittenhouse. Seniors, soon-to-be graduates, my loves, I'm honored to be your graduation speaker this evening. I'm also slightly terrified, but sometimes it's worth stepping outside your comfort zone. As some of you know, I set the bar high for myself and decided to go into teaching for fame and fortune. Let's be honest, it's not for everyone. Not many people can handle 100 teenagers at the doorstep every morning, or constantly being hounded by students for their autograph all day long. It's really time-consuming to keep up with all my online fan mail. And it would probably scare most people to have their names randomly called out in public places. But the fancy wardrobe, as you like to say, it's the move. Bad fuzz jokes aside, I graduated high school 20 years ago. On June 4th, 1997, I sat in your position, eagerly awaiting my diploma and my next adventure. That night, my parents gave me a graduation card that contained 3 pieces of advice: smile and be friendly, this too shall pass, and a quote, in each of us is a piece of the past to carry us into the future. Simple statements, but ones I've returned to time and time again over the past 2 decades, so I share them with you this evening. Smile and be friendly. It may be hard to believe, given all the silly things you've seen me do, but I was not always so outgoing. My parents thought this would be a good piece of advice for their slightly introverted only child as she headed off to college. As an adult and a teacher, the sentiment has taken on new meaning. It's not only about making friends, it's also about getting along in life, being a nice person. As you've heard Mrs. Ward and me say many times, life is easier when people like you. Part of this is being friendly and making yourself approachable. Part of this is having empathy and treating others with dignity and kindness. And part of this is recognizing that happiness is contagious. So smile, be friendly, and try your best to look on the bright side. Sometimes that can be hard to do, so remember that second piece of advice: this too shall pass. Maybe high school hasn't been your thing. The friendship drama, the disagreements with family over your burgeoning independence, the stress in the fall about getting into college, and the fears in the spring about getting along in college. While I can confidently tell you that this too shall pass, I can't guarantee that life will be without its challenges. So when the demands placed upon you outweigh your resources to cope, or if your world suddenly gets turned upside down, stop, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that this too shall pass. Look for the hidden lesson and hope the challenge gives you wisdom and strength to get over life's next hurdle. We can also take it as a reminder to stop and enjoy the good times, to be present in these moments, for they too pass quickly. The final piece of advice is the one I cherish most. In each of us is a piece of the past to carry us into the future. One of my favorite psychologists is Erik Erikson. His theory tells us that the primary task of adolescence is to find an identity, to understand who we are as unique individuals in accord with our past experiences and our future plans, to explore our values and goals, and to commit to an identity. You're all at different stages of that identity crisis. Identity achieved? Awesome. Be confident in yourself and your goals moving forward. Identity moratorium? Enjoy your search. There's so much out there. Identity diffused? It's okay too. As Will Ferrell told USC grads this spring, it's early. You'll eventually get where you're going. Your time at Springfield has put you on the right path. From our classrooms, I hope that our passion for learning energizes you. Maybe an experience in psychology leads you to neuroscience, or to become a champion of mental health. A lesson in history that moves you to advocate within your own community, or to do something to improve the standard of living halfway around the globe. Perhaps a science lab sparks your curiosity in our natural world and a desire to save it for future generations. That's a figurative spark, science department. I truly believe that you are here in this place at this time for a reason. Be inspired and do something constructive with the education you've received. I went into teaching not for fame and fortune, but because of my own high school experience. I bring my past into the classroom every day as I aspire to emulate the teachers who changed my life. Teachers who made their classrooms feel like home, who taught me that I didn't have to be perfect, and who believed in me when I doubted myself. I strive to give to you what they gave to me. And while we hope to be a positive force in your lives, you should also know that you inspire us. It has been a privilege to watch you grow as students and young adults over the past 4 years. Thank you for the us time, the special moments outside the classroom where the lessons learned about life are just as important. Thank you for letting me encourage you, for letting me laugh with you, and even at times this year, for letting me cry with you. Together, we bond. I look back at that card 20 years later, and the sentiments my parents hoped to impart to their 17-year-old daughter then remain relevant now. While I bear little resemblance to that girl who graduated all those years ago, the experiences I had, the people I met, all influenced who I am today, as will the people sitting around you tonight, people who love you and those who will become better because of you. You may remember only bits and pieces as time passes, but Springfield will never leave your heart. It will always be a part of you, and you a part of us. Tonight, high school officially becomes a piece of your past. May the relationships you formed and the lessons you've learned carry you to a bright and successful future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fuzzarelli. At this time, the Springfield Township High School Combined Choir and Symphonic Band will perform the selection "On the Soul" by Z. Randall Stroop.
No, it's all right. It's just all sounds live.
Thank you. Could we have one more round of applause for Mr. Gottesman, Mr. Puntel, and all of our talented musicians for singing and playing this evening?
It's cutting Chuck's head off. Linda? You're on. Like, there's all the other cameras.
Dr. Hacker, Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Lipinski, President of the School District of Springfield Township Board of Directors, on behalf of the Springfield Township High School faculty and administration, it is my distinct honor and privilege to certify to you that these members of the Springfield Township High School class of 2017 have met all graduation requirements established by the Pennsylvania Department of Education in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and by the School District of Springfield Township Board of Directors, and are eligible to receive their diplomas this evening. Dr. Hacker.
Thank you, Dr. Rittenhouse. As a commissioned officer of the state of Pennsylvania, it is my extreme pleasure to accept your certification that 100% of the senior class members have achieved and have met all of the requirements for graduation as determined by the Department of Education in the state of Pennsylvania and the Springfield Township High School in our school district. Mrs. Lipinski, Mrs. Sarsfield, as representatives of our Board of School Directors, I certify to you as well that each one of these graduates may now come forward to accept their diploma.
We will now begin awarding diplomas to the class of 2017. As this is a formal ceremony, I respectfully request that our guests refrain from the use of noisemakers, horns, or any other distraction. Please keep in mind that each student deserves to have his or her name heard during the ceremony. Thank you.
Going with Linda's shot. Now switch between left hand.
Caroline Euling. Carly Munger. Rachel Harmon.
Tina Marie Adoranto. Britton Stetson Allen. Grace Ethel Alt. Josie Elena Anderson. Siani Patricia Anderson. James Allen Ard. Benjamin David Asher. Madison Noel Bear.
George Higgins Bond. Matthew Collins Beck. Madison Elise Bennett. Paige Elizabeth Berkmeyer. Malachi Aaron Blodgett. Garrett Logan Bowles. Isabel Rose Bowles. Jason Michael Bowles.
Michael Joseph Bonacci III. Kyle David Bookman. Grace Catherine Bowden. Kayla Marie Bowers. Richard Stephen Bradley. Destiny Marie Bravo Green. Krista Ann Bray.
Hayden Broussard. Byron Edward Brown. Casey Jacqueline Brown. Sabrina Elizabeth Bruno. Cameron Jerome Callens. Miles Alfred Campbell. Juan Francisco Tohin Castro. Christopher Ryan Chamberlain.
Tenzin Choki. Jacqueline Ann Cisimaro. Kyra Maeva Clark. Destiny Nicole Clarkson. Matthew Tan Weinhold Clifford. Megan Lee Kleinfelter. Evan Lee Coder. Madison Haley Conti.
Gwyneth Elizabeth Cooney. Matthew Brian Corrado. Samuel Crossan. Ella Jane Cummings. Ryan Patrick Daly. Lillian Marie D'Angelo. Richard Thomas Deal, Jr. Mason Rose DeLarso. James Marlon Del Monte.
Samuel Hartley Del Rio. Robert Lee Demerlis. Nicholas De Quevedo. Joseph Martin Dolan. Natalie Teresa Dahl. Aiden Joseph Donnelly. James Anthony Donahoe. Molly Dugan.
William Robert Durham III. Victoria Grace Ebner. Hannah Jane Angasser. Allison Elizabeth Evans. Shane Michael Farrell. Kathleen Ann Fitzpatrick. Raymond Anthony Julius Brown Footman. Rachel Lynn Forbes.
Wyatt Russell Ford. Noel Patrick Franzik. Evan Kirk Patrick Garber. Emily Ann Giampietro. Michael Jermaine Goodson Jr. James Joseph Guckin. Zachary Harley Jr. Camille Francis Harrison.
Jacqueline Margaret Hennigan. Grace Catherine Hines. Liam Oliver Hines. William Charles Iezzi. Will Avery Jameson. Alexander Theophilus Kirby Johnson. William Richard Kaufman. Christopher Thomas Kelly III.
Joseph Andrew Theodore Kem. Alyssa Lynn Kerr. John Truman Knox. Jamison Trarity Cruson. Thomas Joseph Landry. Francis Xavier Ledwith. Leanne Mai Lee. Ellie Campbell Leitzel.
Alyssa Kaylee LaRusso. Keegan Allen Luce. Christopher Scott McBride. Amelia Clark Marion. Jada Maria Mattis. Bryn Anna McGowan. Sean Michael Menke. Janae Cynthia Montez.
Emily Rose Morris. Darian Gabriel Movsesian. Elizabeth Marie Nadolski. Catherine Elizabeth Nelson. Eric Christopher Nesbitt. Connor Brendan Numera. Liam James O'Melvin. Jackson Harris Powells.
Mariel Rose Pello. Andrew Miles Posmontier. Evan Patrick Quinn. Thomas Benjamin Rebeck. Joan Caitlin Riley. Jared Austin Rex. Charles Edgar Rittenhouse V. Mia Noel Roberts.
Sky Julian Porter Romero. Eleonora Rossi. Kylie Alexandra Rowland. Lauren Rachel Rubenstein. John Aloysius Ryan. Liam Patrick Armand Ryan. Christine Rose Sampman. Brian Stephen Santangelo.
Dana Elizabeth Santangelo. Lydia Nicole Sassa. Lindsay Marie Shagrin. William Joseph Schmidt. Gavin John Schmidt. Katie Ann Schwartz. Mackenzie Suzanne Scuddy. Dean Beery Seltzer III.
Jack Shapley. Jared Milo Schiffert. Joseph Thomas Schiffert. Nathan Richard Siegel. David Isaiah Singletary. Austin Cody Smith. Jessica Nicole Smith. Ashley Michelle Sneed.
Amanda Hope Staroba. Alexander James Stevers Radke. Sydney Victoria Stovall. Romaine Zaire Stringfield. Sophia Leona Tournay. Andrew David Takujian. Drew Ryan Tracy. Nyla Rashawn Amah Vassal.
Raekwon Tamir Washington. Paige Ayana Catherine Ridley Weeks. Jesse Samuel Weinstein. Eric Leon Westray. Sharon Keelana Wilson. Janera Brianna Wimberly. Francis Amadou Woods. Chelsea Francis White. And Benjamin Scott Zimmerman.
Can we please all give the newly minted class of 2017 another round of applause, please? Before we close this evening, I'd like to thank the many individuals involved in making tonight's ceremony possible. First, I'd like to thank the entire school district, Springfield Township and Springfield Township, for the support of our upcoming facilities project here at the high school and at the elementary school. Tonight's commencement exercise is historical, and it is our final event on our grass field here in the stadium. In the next couple of days, the grass in the stadium will be replaced with an artificial surface, the lighting will be replaced and improved, and the track will be resurfaced this fall. Over the next 2 to 3 years, in addition to a new elementary school, at the high school we'll also be constructing a second gym, fitness center, new turf, artificial turf and grass athletic fields, and the main entrance will be relocated, parking will be improved, and the overall project will transform our campus. Perhaps most importantly, the driveway will be moved closer here to the stadium, and inside the building we will improve our lighting and cooling systems. So we do appreciate your support for that. I'd like to thank the entire school board of directors, the central administrative staff. This was an outstanding senior class for officers. Rachel Harmon, president, Joe Dolan, vice president, Camille Harrison, secretary, Sharon Wilson, treasurer, and their wonderful class advisors. If they could please stand. Mrs. Sheehan and Mrs. Lawler, please, to be acknowledged. They're excellent. Our technology and maintenance staff has been out here for a couple days, and custodial staff, including Craig Thorne, Carrie Horst, Joe Coughlin, Phil Hesden, Vincent Bell, John Ferraro, Katie Miller, Ray Slater, Steve Schrader, Anthony Mancuso, Sean Lawn, Andrew Evans, Rich Oliver, Tim Coughlin, Tom Wexler, Ginny Wexler, Bill Watson, Linda Henke, Jen Sullivan, Nassim Figueroa, and the entire staff of Service Master. They do a great job with our buildings, with our technology, and our custodial staff. They do an awesome job. We get a round of applause for them. The buildings always look so beautiful. The wonderful high school PTA board members, Sharon Panera, Megan Nimara, Betty Messer, Jennifer Hoagland, and Sarah Koppel, our outstanding transportation and food service departments, teaching and support staff in all of our buildings, central administration, and a special thanks to those staff marching tonight, our dedicated coaches and administrators, security personnel, our wonderful Springfield Township Police Department, Ambulance Association, and all our local fire departments for joining us tonight, the Springfield Township Board of Commissioners and Mr. Don Berger, our Township Manager, my excellent assistant principals, Tracy Walter and Jason Payne, all of our awesome parents and families joining us this evening, and perhaps most importantly, the wonderful secretaries at our high school, Mrs. Buchanan, Mrs. Nelson, Mrs. Kane, and Mrs. Smythe. They're the best. And finally, at this time, I ask everyone to please stand, students and audience and guests, and join us in singing the Springfield Township High School alma mater. The words are inside your program right here. And graduates, the words are inside your diploma cover. Thank you. Senior band members and chorus, please join Mr. Gaddis and Mr. Puntel. And the weather's perfect.
Now it is, yeah. The front end is a little.
And again, for our guests, the words are in your program, and for the students, the words are inside the diploma cover. Seniors, at this time, I would like Class President Rachel Harmon to join me for the ceremonial turning of the tassel. But before we do that, a reminder to the students that after you turn your tassel and throw your cap into the air, I ask that you gather your cap, do your best to get back to your seat, and recess out of the stadium in orderly fashion like we practiced this morning. We will process off the field in the following manner and order. I will lead the procession with all the individuals on the stage, followed by staff, our dignitaries, and I thank you, our dignitaries, for attending this evening. Thank you very much for your time. And then finally, the students. Students, you will walk through, we'll have a receiving line rather here, and be able to, you'll then proceed to the concession stand for your diploma. Please welcome your class president, Rachel Harmon.
Class of 2017, at this time, it is my honor to lead you in the turning of the tassel ceremony. Please rise, you already are. Along with me, please move your tassel from right to left. Congratulations, class of 2017.
Okay, students, do your best. I only need a B- at this point. To get back to your seats, we will begin our procession off the field in a second. And again, you'll have the opportunity when the staff processes off to say hello, to say goodbye, check in. You'll see a lot of teachers you haven't seen, I'm sure, for a while.